Hey y'all, this is Molly K. Hope everybody is doing well today. I got a story I want to share with y'all about Miss Jasmine Crockett. She is sure enough getting on my nerves. So I got to talk about her. I'm going to call her Jasmine Crock-a-doo-doo, like my daddy said. My daddy's 75 years old, so he loves to say, that's just a crock-a-doo-doo. So that's what I'm going to call her, crock-a-doo-doo. Jasmine Crockett is being put out there to try for two reasons. One, to promote ghetto culture, because y'all know that is what the serpent seed basically wants the world to think about us. Because whenever Dawid, King David, the Messiah, hits the sky and lets everybody know who we are, they don't want people to respect us now because they're not going to believe later. And it is the serpent seed's hope that as many people perish and go to the lake of fire with him or with them. So, that's part of this. But the other piece is like they just want to promote ghetto culture among our people. They are upset because they are losing control. And so they're trying to figure out, grasping at straws, how do we get, a grip back on our, our favorite people we watch, the chosen people. We got to keep up with them. What's working? Our magic is wearing off. And so the culture that they have placed upon us or created and put in our community, and we took it and ran with it. Now people are rejecting it because we see how dysfunctional it is. We see it's not working. It's making us look stupid. We sound ignorant. And Jasmine Crockett is no different. And the other, irony of the whole situation with her is, her background is coming up now and everybody's figuring out, she went to private schools. She was not poor. Oh, I can't say she wasn't poor, but she was in all white settings. So if anything, sister knows how to code switch. The reason that she's off code and lacking decorum and being hood and cursing and stuff is beyond me. Except for she has to be a plant, and they're sending her out to target a certain population of ladies and gentlemen who identify with that type of language and that type of behavior to possibly lure them to the polls or to cause them to continue to curse themselves. And if you know who we are, y'all know what I'm saying. So yesterday, I don't know if it was yesterday, but I saw this video yesterday. She was basically touting being black as a qualification for a public defender. And she got up. Now, the problem with it is in the midst of this whole DEI thing. Everybody is trying to figure out, how we did or did not benefit. And she's going up and sitting up in Congress on the record, basically saying, I got my job because I was black and I could identify with a lot of the people that were coming in who needed public defenders. Like, who says that? Like, nobody has ever gone to a job and be like, I want to get a job because I'm black. She literally said that. Now, she's an attorney. She's very educated and she knows better. So I'm of the mindset, and I want to put it on the record, that Miss Jasmine Crockett is a crock-a-doo-doo. She is an op. She is a person that has been put there to not only make Yasharel look bad, but sisters look bad who don't get down with this whole ghetto culture, with this whole being a part of this system. And, she is, to me, another Kamala Harris. And they're putting her out there in the media for a reason. I just want to talk about her because I don't want her to go any further, or I don't want the whoever put her up to think, oh yeah, it's working, and we're gonna keep on pushing her. Send her back where she come from, because we don't want her. Return to sender. She's not doing no bidding for us. We are not believing her. Now there are some weak-minded people who look at the wig and look at the, she's a attractive woman, and so that appeals to men and women. The wig appeals to the sisters and some brothers. The ghetto culture is going to appeal to both. But that's not what we are shooting for. We are trying to rein in our people, and we're trying to get away from this culture because it is dysfunctional. It is toxic. It has been the death of our people. Our children are hood. The young ladies are hood. The young men are hood. You got grown people in their 50s out here still trying to be hood. The world coming to an end, and we just can't let it go. So I don't know what the deal is with her, but to me, just something. It's a dead cat on the line, and I'm gonna put her in the same category with Tish James and Fannie Willis and Ayanna Presley and what's the other child who got kicked out of Congress? I think she was from Ohio. And Jamal Bowman, like that crew. Like I don't know if she came in with them, but it's just something about her that's very disingenuous. And y'all know they have never allowed us to be acting like this, and she's just out of control. So she gotta be a plant, gotta be. And for those of us who are decent and cultured and educated and tried to be a part of this system, y'all know we don't act like that. Y'all excuse the noise. I have my door open and people just outside happy, having joy and stuff. I'm just kidding. Just loud music. So if y'all hear cars or stuff, corns or whatever going by, that's why the door's open. But anyway, these people are crazy. And anybody that's still attaching themselves to this system, they don't know what time it is. They don't know who they are. And I feel like, this lady is obviously a plant. We don't know anything about her. She hasn't been in Congress that long to be getting this much face time, especially as a melanated person, a black person. And I guess they are retiring the old tools like Maxine Waters and Al Green and whoever else they used to have. They drag out Jim Clyburn. Y'all don't see any of those old people anymore. They're trying to revitalize the party and bring in or attract younger black people. And they're using, people like her. To me, this is the equivalent of bringing Meg Thee Stallion, Sexy Red, Beyonce, whatever out for a campaign rally. Well, we don't. She doesn't represent a lot of us. She may represent a subset of us, but not all of us. So let's get into this story. So it said on Wednesday, which was yesterday, Jasmine Crockett, who's a Democrat from Texas, appeared to boast that her being black was a big contributor to getting hired as a public defender with no experience. So y'all already know Fox News was going to pick this up because they're on that DEI train. So it says Crockett relayed the story during a House Judiciary Subcommittee on Oversight meeting on corruption in the FBI under the Biden administration. She used it as an argument to defend diversity in law enforcement. So she says, when I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. I walked in and told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. And he said, why? And I said, because I'm black. And Charlie looked at me like I was crazy, which I would have too, because I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? But the fact that she said this and said this on record with all this DEI stuff going on, that to me was a dead giveaway. It seems like she was put there for a reason. And one reason is because DEI really hadn't helped us a whole lot. It may have helped some sisters, but not a whole lot. The majority of the people who were benefiting from DEI were black people. I mean, I'm sorry, were white people. And, for her to say it on record, like, it's just egregious to me. So it says, she continued, quote, and I said, let me tell you something. When I walk in, I'm going to walk in with a level of support, of rapport and understanding that maybe some of my other colleagues will not. And then she says, Charlie offered me the job and I worked my butt off and I worked really hard for all of my clients, not just those that look like me. That is what it looks like to serve. Now she could have said all of that without throwing in the part about I told him to hire me because I'm black. So to me, this seems like the adversary is doing a playing both sides situation. And because this is politics, this is why I say that. So it says public defenders are lawyers appointed to provide legal representation to people who can't afford their own attorneys. Crockett's tale inspired intense mockery across X, rightly so, with many joking that the Congresswoman admitted to being a DEI hire, which she did. Which to me, again, is another piece of the setup. So first of all, you're making her look stupid. So you're making, she's supposed to be a representative of us. So she's making us look stupid. She's throwing her hat in this DEI hire stuff. Surely she's an attorney. She knows better. So this has to be done on purpose. But why? Of course we know why. So it can make us look bad. So one of the posts from Libs of TikTok says, incredible. Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett publicly admits that she only got her job as a public defender because she was black. Crockett is a DEI hire, confirmed. The Libs of TikTok X account posted. And I mean, that's right. So, I was just like, man, come on. So it says Jasmine Crockett brags about being a DEI hire, conservative activist Charlie Kirk wrote. So basically, to me, this is fuel to the fire. And because everybody was talking about how white people were being impacted, white farmers, white women, white whoever, white men, they gotta clean that up and redirect it and put it back on us, because everything that they're doing, they want to attack us. So this DEI stuff, they gotta make it's about black people. DEI equals black, even though we didn't benefit. We were like way down the list. Everybody benefited before us. Hispanics, Asians, whites, gays. So even white men, gay white men, like people who already were at the top of the social hierarchy, like they just got an extra bump up. And we were like 7th on the list when it came to DEI hires. So now that she said this, it redirects, and so they can go back and pinpoint, black people, DEI. So all this is a bunch of bull. And I hate that our people are just constantly targeted. When you black, you ain't never alone. When you black, you don't never get no rest. When you black, it's just always something. And this story just really annoyed me, and I have been tired of her anyway. I really hadn't said anything about her because I try to stay away from politics if it's not tied to anything specific that I feel like is of importance. But I want to talk about this because I want to put on the record that we are not following Jasmine Crockett. We do not support what she's talking about. We don't go to jobs and tell people, oh, we just, cause you should hire us because we black. I ain't never went to a job and told somebody, oh, you should hire me because I'm black. Even when I'm going to an all black, you know, company or organization, I would never say that. They hire the best person for the job. I would never hire somebody because they are black. I'm gonna hire the best person for the job. And I've hired people and I've fired people. I would not do that. So, I don't know what's going on with this Jasmine Crockett thing, but it's a dead cat on the line. I don't know if they're trying to push her to run for president because they couldn't get Kamala Harris presidency, so they got to try to do a plan B for 2026, 2027. And I know they're having elections as early as this year, but I think next year is a big year for national elections for Congress. So I don't know what the deal is, but something ain't right. And I don't want y'all to get caught up into, oh yeah, she talk like us, she whatever. Because if you go back and look at some of the stuff, people are starting to dig up old footage of her. And, she is not talking like that. She's not acting the way that she's acting. It's almost as if, she is performing. And I would look and see how Sister Girl voted, because this is not her first rodeo. And I would look to see who donates to her campaign, because I bet you she is in the pocket of the small hats. I bet you. She was picked for a reason. And now I'm telling you what I know. These people hand pick their black people. And everybody, for that matter. They have a formula that they use to select the people that they want to run for office. She wasn't acting like that when she got into office, but all of a sudden now she's comfortable acting like that. And you don't see any of the old heads admonishing her. They just got her out, and every time you turn around, every other day she's saying something or doing something, got the camera on her. They did Kamala Harris the same way, same damn playbook. Oh, she's an attorney, she did blah blah blah, she worked with black people in the court system. She say words. She probably wash her collard greens in the bathtub, and she probably go to the black church and eat fried chicken. All the stereotypical BS that they do when they have these missions. But when you find out, you start digging into their background. They ain't been in the hood. They don't have any connection to a hood. Didn't go to school in the hood. Don't know. Just became hood after you became an adult. So anyway, I just want to talk about this lady, Jasmine Crockett, because that's gonna be her name when I talk about her from now on. Jasmine Crockett, because we don't go around telling people, oh, I begged for my job, then told them to hire me because I was black. Get out of here. We don't do that. That is a no. And why would you do that now when all this DEI hire stuff is going on? So they're just trying to redirect and put the doo-doo back on us, but we taking the doo-doo and giving it back to them, to the establishment, to the party, and to Jasmine Crockett herself. She is nothing more than a raccoon, and y'all need to just ignore her. So that's all I got. Please leave your comments in the comment section. Follow me, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so every time I upload new content, you can receive it, maybe, if YouTube lets y'all get it. Make sure you are following me on Odyssey and Rumble and on Instagram. The links are in the description. If you'd like to support the channel financially, you can donate via Venmo or Coffee. The links are in the description. This channel is not monetized, and I do not sell anything for anyone because I ain't got time. Lastly, continue to pray, continue to prep, continue to seek the Most High, obey those laws, statutes, and commandments. Keep watch because the adversary is so busy minding black business and trying to control us. But I'm so glad a lot of our people are waking up and seeing through all of the foolishness so that we are not being deceived. And these, the little tactics that they have been using, they're not switching them up. They're doing the same thing. They're just probing, throwing anything at the wall to see what will stick. So this Jasmine Crockett thing is old. We don't want the ghetto people in our own community. We ain't trying to go get a professional ghetto person to represent us. So y'all can go on somewhere, return to sender. All right. This is Marley K. Love y'all. And I am out of here.